And Twitter, I find, is just like weird. Like it's more for journalists, I think. I got on Twitter when I was a journalist and I found it useful for following the news. But, and if there's an earthquake, it's a good place to go to see if there's an earthquake, if that was really an earthquake you felt or not.
Mm,
Um,
that is true.
but I guess I should, okay, well, I'm going to explore those avenues because I'm looking for, and now Facebook has this thing called, is it Facebook or Instagram? The Reels.
Yeah, real Instagram Reels is basically just TikTok on Instagram. So
Right.
whatever you would post on, Dave Dialect in the chat just said I would help Sue with a YouTube channel. I'm in like
Really?
I feel like I'm interviewing everybody, so I got to be neutral position right now. But if somebody said that, yeah, Dave Dialect's in Thrive NDG or something. I'm sure he if he's trying to help you, then that's amazing.
Hey, and I really need someone to do my social media for sure. Like I love doing it, but it's just
I think the
time.
part where you answer everybody the way that you do is really well done. And you should keep doing that part. It's the worst
Which
part,
part?
the part where you actually answer people in groups and stuff.
Yeah, but it can, you know what? Sometimes it can be a little bit soul destroying. Like I go on there and I have to be honest, there are times where it's really hurtful, you know? And what I find the most difficult is when I read someone who I've never met, who doesn't know me, and they're saying like really horrible things about me. And I've actually reached out to a couple of them and said, look, you seem really angry. You seem mad at me. I've never met you. Let's go for coffee and talk about it. Like, I'd like to know what it is. But then they just shut up. Like, then they disappear.
Well, yeah, because they're
So,
what we call keyboard warriors. These are not people who are ever really. I have friends that will flat out be like, "Here's my address. Pull up. Let's go." Nobody,
yeah.
because nobody's gonna do it. People don't pull up. They're just there to kind of be
Well, why are
disruptive.
they so mean? Like, I don't understand being mean to somebody you don't even know. Like, or
I
even if you know them, why do you have to be so mean? I find it sort of toxic. And so there's times I have to take a break from the social media. Um, my kids actually take my phones away from me and they say, you need to walk away.
I appreciate how empathetic you are to this situation. I think a lot of people aren't really aware that Facebook's the public. So my theory is Facebook is the public. Like you're in a park and everyone acts like you're at home. And so you can say what you want, but they don't really connect the
Yeah.
fact that you're in public with your public identity. And like they're just saying whatever they want to people because they can't see you, but they don't really treat Facebook with the same rules that they would in real life. And
I
that
know, but did I not realize that? Well, it's true. They're not using their real names either, a lot of them, right? So they
there's a
can be
chunk,
invisible.
especially in the like in the groups like Thrive NDG.
Yeah.
There's absolutely a few accounts that get created where people are there to be shit disturbers. That's what they get off on. I mean, when I was younger and angrier as a human, I got off on really long comment threads. Like you feel
Oh,
like
really?
nobody listens to you in life. You feel frustrated. Maybe you don't like all the social change because you're not yet acclimated to why it's happening. So you lash
Hmm.
out. And then if you go
Hmm.
on the internet, it's algorithmic rabbit holes. So a lot of the
Yeah.
angry people, when they go consume content online, they end up at the same angry people. So you see the same kind of rhetoric and attitude. So it kind of creates this charged up energy where, in the same vein that you fight for what you think is right, in their own twisted way, they're doing the same thing. It's just
Well,
that
and I also think that I think it's gotten worse during COVID, and I understand like, and then again, this comes back to what I was talking about earlier, where we're all kind of a little bit traumatized, and I understand that people are going through really, really hard times, a lot of people, and I feel for them, so I try not to take it personally. But I just kind of feel like, look, yeah, I'm a politician. I guess I'm a mayor, but I'm a human being first, and I have feelings, and I show other people respect all the time, and I kind of feel like I deserve to be respected as well. And you don't have to agree with me. with what I'm doing. You can even be angry with me. That's okay. But let's have a conversation, you know? Let's not just, don't just call me really awful names. And I think there's an element of being a woman in politics too, right? That there's a lot of misogynists out there, and it's tough, you know. Um, I don't know what it is. Like they can't stand to see a woman in a position of power, or I don't know. I don't understand it. But I wish that that wasn't the way it is. Like that, I have to say that's the part of the job I really find difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely not simple to have people judging your life like that, but
Yeah.
then to express themselves cleanly. Back before YouTube had comment censors, they used to say mean things to me on the internet, and it took a while to get you. Cause one bad comment could ruin your day. Like it could, and it seems
Well,
weird.
and I just feel like it's unfair because you don't know me. Like you don't know my life. You don't know what I've done. Uh, you don't know what I've experienced or what I've suffered. Um, and I think we could all use a little bit more compassion. Honestly, I just think that people need to dial it back and because I often think it must take so much energy to be that angry at someone you don't even know, you know?
Yeah, I just think that it's almost like when you don't have a purpose, you find a purpose and it manifests however it does. And then in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, the behavior is rewarded via like how many people will like that person that attacked you. They're gonna, even if 87 people like your like amazing response and it's perfect, there's still gonna be like this 7 people that like that guy, and
Yeah.
that's it. Like it's enough to validate it, to like keep it a cycle going. But in a lot of ways, I feel like Facebook's putting people in jail, which is definitely helping to deal with this problem. That Facebook jail things it's really going on. So I've noticed the behavior is a little tamer, just because you literally can't get away with what you could have a year ago. And
Mm,
I don't know. Over time, I'm kind of watching people start to kind of check people's attitudes, but it's like
okay.
really slow going. This is like one of those society kind of has to police itself and decide what it feels is correct things,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And I think a lot of people are kind of tired of bad social media behavior, but
Mhm.
then you're fighting what Facebook wants, which is certainly not what we want. And that's a very different thing.
But also, I have a very thick skin. I had to have a thick skin as a journalist. I certainly have to have a thick skin as a politician. But, I often think, how do people feel who don't have that thick skin? I'm sure it leads to all kinds of mental health issues. Like we know that, right? We know young people have killed themselves over cyberbullying, and I think we all need to sort of check our behavior and really think about the impact it can have on others.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think a lot of people, it's because like if you look at YouTube culture, it's really common, right? Like YouTubers do things or say things, and then millions of people get mad and opinions. Twitter's awful. I don't really talk a lot on Twitter. I watch a lot on
No, me
Twitter,
neither. I just kind of scroll. Yeah.
and at the end of the day, when spicy engagements appears to be like the attraction, right? Because the other side of it is nice is boring. I don't know why.
Mhm.
I used to like do album reviews, and they were a little more argumentative and combative in their approach. It got way better views. We got like more nice and respectful, and like people cared less. And
No, but I mean,
that's
there's a
like,
difference between a debate and like disagreeing, like being critical of something.
let's say we took it too far. I was a little bit of an asshole. It did better. We got more respectful. It did worse. And I think that's kind of like a little bit something that's not lost on a lot of people, that like being safe and respectful does not sell in a world
Yeah.
where we're all in a like we've like, especially when so many people have side hustles and are trying to push the this and that, we're all competing with such limited attention space. It's like we're all really bad entrepreneurs facing burnout at the same time. Like that's
Yeah.
what I see us all as online. and then
Yeah.
you just have bad judgment. Or like, yo, at 7 in the morning, I try not to even answer people on Facebook because I'll say really mean things, and then by 7:45 when my coffee's kicked in, I'm like way more respectful. And I think like a lot of us are just like learning. I've seen a lot of people get softer in a sense over the last year, like kind of get more in touch with their like empathy. And
Mm,
but I think you're right. A lot of people are also angry and hurting, and I
yeah.
didn't lose my job, so it's hard for me to fully empathize with the person who like hasn't worked in a year and a half and feels
Yeah.
like useless because there's
Yeah.
no real options forward. And like,
Hmm.
I don't know, if you're 18 it's probably crappy because there's not as many jobs, and if you're 40 you're probably stuck doing jobs that you were doing when you were 18 in a lot of ways, and I couldn't
Right.
imagine being in that position. So I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of people use this stuff to vent. It's not right,
Yeah.
but
No, I agree. I agree.
it's culturally acceptable for the longest time. Even if it like doesn't seem like it kind of was behind closed doors. It's like a lot of the stuff we were all saying behind closed doors got projected. So